Hello and welcome everybody to a new video. How's it going? It's poppin'. It's your boy Pain the God, aka Call Me Pain, and we're here to discuss a something that came up. I was doing some research the other day, and I actually came across a an article that talked about Pokemon Stars, which is supposedly the next installment of the Pokemon series, which is a fusion of both Sun and Moon, and the director's cut, like Platinum and things like that. Um, so today we're actually going to discuss a little bit about that on the screen. You can just watch some battles that I've done recently. That will go up, but don't worry about it. And one of the first things that I want to bring up before we start. This is all in the notes. I'm gonna have a document down in the description for you to look at, put comments on as well as comments on the video. See if you have anything. And one of the things that I got is actually from Sacred Fire Nigo, who is a known PokeTuber. If you didn't know that, you should go check him out. And there's actually gonna be a clip where one of the things that he says is that us fans aren't really concerned about the gameplay. Like, we know the story is going to be great and it's going to be on and popping, but one of the things that fans are really care about is about the user interface when it comes to like online. This is more specifically for competitive battles, but like having the online feature being as simplistic as possible. I'm gonna play this clip right now.
Crazy, yeah.
which is
That's
what
that's
I think. Which
why
is what I
killed
think
off the game.
killed
Yep.
the game.
The longevity of the game did not last because of that. The Crystal Plaza.
And people don't understand when I say, look at it. So there's a difference between like longevity in terms of like actual longevity, like casual longevity. Then there's YouTube longevity. There's
Yep.
there's only so much content you can make on the game when the interface is stupid. The key function of Pokemon or a YouTube Pokemon is the standard Let's Play,
Or the
whatever
Wi-Fi.
Nuzlocke you want to do,
Anything Wi-Fi.
and anything Wi-Fi. That's why you will see
PS
all these.
and the
That's
thing
why
is too, people got used to the PSS system, which is
yeah,
easily hands down
the
one of the
best. That's
best
that's
online
hands down
functions.
the best. But what people don't understand is that like on YouTube, there's only so much you can do with Pokemon. Sun and Moon. Don't get me wrong, is a good thing, but you can't really get a lot of gameplay out of it unless you do the normal playthrough, the Nuzlocke, the Wonderlock afterwards,
Sun and Moon
the
is a
free for
great.
all,
It was a great
or
game, but longevity, the system for it
in
actually
terms of
ruined it.
YouTube, the system for it was just bad. For casual players, it's fine.
They
For the
love it.
audience, it's fine. You can love it. They're great. They're still great games. They're still amazing. But in terms of like YouTube, nobody's really checking for them at like that anymore. Um, and I think, if anything, I think it's safe to say that like a lot of content creators, unless you're uploading shit with like friends, like free for alls or
Shiny
little
hunting.
showdown session,
Shiny
people
hunting
aren't
too.
or shiny hunting. People aren't really playing Pokemon like regularly like that.
That's the thing. I've noticed that in a lot of Pokemon games, even Oris. That's why Oris was joked on for such a long time because longevity was gone. And the
Yeah,
thing is, though, believe it or
there's
not,
little to
Oris actually
none.
had a
Nico
lot of
Venomous
content
said
creation
number
after the
30
game
SWK.
with
What?
all what is it?
Nico Venomous said feels good, man.
Oh no!
A
Oh no!
lot of people did that. The Delta Saga.
Oris
It was
had,
just short.
in
It
my
was short.
opinion, Oris, in my opinion, had the most after game in the past like
Years.
years
Black
since
and
Black
White.
and White 2.
Yeah, this is
Black and White 2 was that had everything, boy. That tournament you could have did, that Black Tower, the White Tower, that whole extra
White
part of
Forest,
the region.
Black City.
Yeah, that was
White Forest, and Black City still gave me the.
All right. With that said, I think my man Sacred Fire Negro put up some good points about like how the Festival Plaza isn't really that good. Like for themselves, there's a difference because it's YouTube content creators, but for casuals, it's fine. But in general, what he speaks to is like having it more simplified, like in the PSS, like in Oris and X and Y, makes a much better experience for those who want to play online. Right. So moving on, the next note I want to put in place to set the background for this is that sixth gen, which brought us X and Y and Oris, weren't like they didn't really add anything to the franchise. And but like what I mean by that is like if In 4th gen, they started competitive battles. 5th gen, they solidified it. 6th gen, they added some stuff, but like there wasn't really like anything that pushed it over the limit. Like yes, X and Y had mega evolutions, and they had a new fairy typing, which is great and all for competitive players, but like for casuals, like kind of just like bought the game because it looked nice, and like maybe that's why it stuck so much. But like the content, like the Pokedex was very lackluster. There wasn't that really many good Pokemon in there, and it's just that it wasn't out of all the generation, like 6th gen was not the best, right? And I also want to distinguish the difference between a handheld and a home console. If you're watching this, you probably know what a handheld, the difference between the two is. But I'm gonna just keep this short and simple for those who don't. Basically, handheld is built for mobility. It's not as powerful as, let's say, like a desktop PC or PlayStation or Xbox, whatever you use, but it's meant for mobility. For like the battery only lasts for like maybe 5 to 6 hours, and you could just play on the go, on the train, in a plane. Dr. Seuss is in here, but that's that's not really important. And like, and then a home console, you plug it right into the wall, plug it right into your TV, and it's meant to be built for you to sit there and play it for like hours on top of hours. And the release of the Nintendo Switch actually is supposed to be the implication of both different types of systems into one. Like, you have the Nintendo Switch, you could just hook it into your TV and play it from there. But you can also pull up the screen and like travel and play it from there. At least that's what it's meant to do. Alright, so next we're gonna go into what we know. So in this section is gonna be like all the details and everything that we know about the new upcoming Pokemon game, which is said to be Pokemon Stars, like I mentioned earlier. So we're gonna get right into it. So, what we know is that this game is supposed to be released by the end of 2017. And actually, I'm gonna put it on the screen now. All right, so I have the image pulled up on the screen, and there is the new Constellation shirt, which is actually in Japan, is at the Pokemon centers. I think they're available for sale. I have the I'm also gonna put the article in the description where I got this image from. And as you can see, you got Nebby, Pikachu staring off in the constellations. You can see a Rayquaza, Swanna, Jirachi's there, Machoke holding a survivor, Scorpy, Tauros, Chandelier, Toxapex, Milotic, Murkrow, Lunala, uh, there's another Cosmog. What the hell is that? I can't even tell what that is. In the, like, right next to Rayquaza and Ursaring, Lycanroc 2, Gardevoir, and Arcanine. But you can see, like, there's a whole lot of stuff going on here. And, so this is our first link to an actual, um, game that's coming out, right? So the next thing that I want to pull up is that, right, Nintendo just released their newest console, the Nintendo Switch, on March 3rd, 2017, which actually had a pretty great amount of success compared to the Wii U, which its sales overall were pretty like garbage. So not only that, I want to pull up this next piece. Alright, as you can see, I pulled up actually the Nintendo console sales, which is actually an important part that you want to look at, right? So, we're comparing all of them, right? So as you can see in the first row, we have the Game Boy Advance, the Game Boy actually, which sold like crazy, handheld console. The Game Boy Advance didn't sell as much, but still sold over 80 million units handheld. Nintendo DS sold 150 million units. Nintendo 3DS only sold 40 million units, and this is in the 20 the initial sales of the of the console, right? So that's what we're looking at. SNES, uh, SNES, NS, Nintendo 64, GameCube. Wii was another selling factor because it had a lot of motion controls, and then you had the Wii U down here for Wii U. So I pulled that up to say, right, that the handheld consoles, especially Nintendo handheld console, gets racks. Like if you like add them all together, you're sitting at over probably like 300 300 million units sold that are just handheld consoles, which is like blows out any home console that they had out of the water pretty much, right? Which is important. And one of the next things that I want to say under the section of what we know is that Nintendo doesn't really care about its fan base, right? There's plenty of evidence that shows that they'll shut down fan games, which fan games are for fans of series who like try and make their own contribute and try to like make their own story, which is like honestly should be very humbling. Where it's like you created something so great that people want to make their own addition to it, even if it's not real. And Nintendo just throws all that contribution down the water, right? And it's like not only that do they shut those down, there's also like they don't take any input from consumers. Like people have been telling them that they should change up their business strategies or stratagems, but they don't, and they continue to do the same thing over again, right? So another fact that we have under what we know is that the Nintendo Switch did actually have the first 2 days it had a really great release off the back of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which probably was a major selling point. If it didn't come with Zelda, a lot of people weren't gonna buy the console. And it's just that's just what's so, right? And not only that, we know that Pokemon is one of Nintendo's best-selling handheld series, and that Pokemon does sell units, right? And one of the last things that we do know that I want to know is that Pokemon Stars, as I mentioned earlier, is going to be the director's cut sort of, and like the mixture between Sun and Pokemon Moon. All right. So now we're gonna go into like the real meat of what this video is gonna be, and we're gonna look at like what is possible. Hey, what I mean by what's possible, I'm actually looking at like what is the possibility that could happen if Pokemon Stars, the new Pokemon game, was actually released simultaneously for the 3DS and for the Nintendo Switch, right? So first thing I want to put out is that Pokemon Stars of PS could be the first Pokemon game on a console since Pokemon Battle Revolution for the Wii. And I actually want to make note of this because I actually did not remember that Battle Revolution actually existed. That game is garbage and was awful, and that's how come I like completely blocked it out of my memory, right? So with that fact put in place, like what does that mean? Being having a Pokemon game on a console, right? So PS could switch up, like they could change up the Pokemon game, like, and by what I mean like change up, like I mean it can like really um it can like really increase its development. Where it's like now we have more resources dedicated to the development of a Pokemon game on a different console, a much more powerful console. And one of the things I want to note here is that if you played through a lot of hours of Sun and Moon, I have like 300 hours on mine because I was egg grinding and doing all that stuff, trying to get into competitive battling because we out here. But that's besides the point. But if you notice, there's a lot of points within the game that have like really low frames. And if you like go online and watch online battles, you can see that in Z moves and all that nonsense. Like it doesn't impact the gameplay as much, but it's something that like that turns you off when something is like really choppy and framey. it's kind of like you don't want to sit there and watch it, and it's not as crispy as a PC or AAA published developers title, right? And with development into development with more resources, there's an opportunity to like actually have the game be properly optimized at a full 60 frames per second, where you can actually see. I don't even care if my eyeballs can't process 60 frames. If it's at 120 frames and it looks crispy, it like you want to play the game more. Like there are countless times that there are games that are complete garbage, but they look crispy as fuck. Um, and you like actually really want to play it. And one, I actually want to mention the thing about the Z moves, right? Right, with the development and having more resources by developing on the Switch, like the Z moves can actually like look powerful if you like ever like sit down and watch somebody battle, or like ever use the Z move. Like you kind of, the Pokemon that you use is kind of just like sitting there, and it's like, oh, I cast the Z move, when like it's supposed to look like these awesome things, and like most of the times your Pokemon are kind of just sitting there, and like there's no animation to them, right? The opportunity that the Nintendo Switch has by having Nintendo has by having development alongside on the Nintendo Switch is that our Pokemon can come alive using Z moves, like, right? If you ever seen Supersonic Strike Gyarados or Supersonic Strike any bird Pokemon, like it is some nonsense, right? They basically jump into the air, do some charge up or something, and then just like their body just hits the ground. That doesn't look supersonic or anything. Like it's like super stale and whack. And if the opportunity presents itself, the Switch is a much more powerful machine than the 3DS is, which is probably one of the issues if they weren't like completely lazy, that they probably had animating it, right? So that's important, right? Another thing that's important, right? More resources and development on the Nintendo Switch means that there is a possibility for Pokemon battle backgrounds. Now, that might seem insignificant, and this is an important key note. If you follow along the Google Docs with me, I highlighted this in red, where it's like with the with Pokemon backgrounds, although it seems like insignificant, being able to like fully customize your game how you want it to be is like something that has been implemented in RPGs to make them better. Like it's a role playing game. You're supposed to develop your character. You're supposed to like you could change every aspect of it. That's why there's skill points and point specking and all of that nonsense, because you're supposed to create your character. Like that character is who you are and what you want it to be, right? And we've all played Sun and Moon, or if you haven't, you've seen somebody play. Those backgrounds in that game are gorgeous. Like I'm talking about like Gorbis gorgeous or Milotic gorgeous. Like them things are crispy. They're crispy as fuck, man. And not having the option to like bring those to a Wi-Fi battle. Maybe it was like, how would you balance out like which player chooses which background or whatever, but it wouldn't matter. You can like easily just make it so that whatever the background the player chooses is the one that's displayed for them, just like the battle music. Yeah, just like the battle music is. At least I think that's how the battle music works. But that's besides the point, right? So Pokemon battle backgrounds in Wi-Fi battles would be a big deal. It'll give the game even more life than it already has, right? Another thing that that can show up is actually the move tutor. I've been going through this game a bunch of times, and I like did research on all of this. The only move tutor there is the move tutors for Dragon Ascend, for Mega Rayquaza, and the Elemental Hyper Beams, or which you get in I forget what city it is, but it's on Melee Island. Which, if you want to use them, I guess it's cool, but like that like limits that really like limits a lot of people who, especially for myself, who just started coming into competitive Pokemon battling, and I don't have freaking Pokebank. Like a lot of moves, and if you like go on like Smogon and like do research that way, you're looking at a lot of you're trying to find out like different move sets, what like everything can do, and everything. What's like recommended move sets. You can't even build them to like give you a base. You can't build them because there's no move tutor to help you out with like moves like Iron Head, Tailwind, like things that. And, and what makes it worse is like certain egg moves that the Pokemon can get, you can't breed it onto them because whatever is used for breeding is not available in the game. So not that like really like constricts how much you can actually do, and which is why like not a lot of people, which is actually like one factor why a lot of people aren't having fun with the game, right? So I actually mentioned before, I skipped this, is I wanna no, never mind. Scratch that, eliminate that. So one of the next things is I wanna actually go into Smash 4, another Nintendo game, which is great. Which is great. That Smash 4, as you know, if you haven't played it before, on the Wii U, you can easily like connect different controllers, consoles, and all that. Your 3DS, you could hook it up to it, which is actually like a lot of people don't use the 3DS because 3DS the analog stick is super frail and it sucks to play the game, but it's fun when
I'm
you
assuming
can.
he's gonna
Just having the option
That's why I didn't.
is like the main point of this. Where it's like you can hook up your 3DS, and especially back when you on the GameCube when you had Coliseum and Galaxy Darkness, being able to really like hook up your Game Boy or hook up your 3DS to a different console, and then having like all your information transferred over, and you can actually
there's no priority in this.
Your
match.
your Pokemon come to 3D, come to life. Like before that, second gen, first gen, and third gen, and up until 6th gen, all Pokemon were 2D and they were flat. Pokemon Coliseum provided.
I didn't predict the top
Galaxy
Protect, but I knew there was no
your
point
Pokemon
of,
to come out to life, and they have battle backgrounds, right? You come out, you roll through. Like this is the first time you see that
that's not affected. It's gonna do
glory.
Damage.
Like this is craziness. Like and it's like it's really kind of
wild
out how they do it too. Good. Or it's like, and now you're getting more into it. You're just like, dang. Like these battles are getting crazy. You call your homeboys over to come to your house. You all playing GameCube free for all Pokemon battles, and it's like, cause I've done that. That is amazing. And it's like it's some of the best fun that you can actually have, and like having that option on the Switch now. Yeah, so we got Pokemon Stars, right? That means like tournaments are actually be much easier to run. So there's that aspect of that. You can just connect it to a console and get a capture card and just like cast it on the giant screen. Switches out. So tournaments are much easier to run.
One hit.
The Pokemon, even though they're already in 3D animation with the power of the Nintendo Switch, those animations can get even crispier. Like you got your shining Combo with all scales, just like running through somebody with a fully 60 frames per second animated all-out pummeling or Dragon Z move. Like you gon' feel that. You like goddamn. I forgot it. It's actually gonna be freaking crazy. Ooh, that Tapu Lady got Dookie on. Hello, but Kartana's still alive. I say that to say not only that, right? So you got
Sacred Sword.
You got the frames. You got easier casting for like actual tournaments. Now the game becomes alive
priority, but I still
for you, right? Back to the whole tournaments thing. If they actually like they're actually able to like sit down and have like a big stage, have surround sound, get the booth. Your homeboy calls out, use Ice Beam. You're actually gonna hear the Ice Beam sound crispy, right? That's all. But that all opens up out of
Let's rock
having the net.
Yeah, see, the earthquake would have
Nintendo
been really
Switch
good
as
against the
a
Heligo.
base for it, because it amplifies, which goes into my next point. Sun and Moon is already
and the
a
Heligo
great
has air
game,
balloons.
and having it
Gotta keep that in
available
mind.
on a third console,
You
yes,
can
can
go
have
for
its own
Flame
story,
Tails
which
here.
is probably gonna have,
And
which
Pokemon
Pokemon
Stars
Stars is
on
probably
the
gonna
Heligo.
have. But you can use that as a base to amplify an already great game,
Sludge Bomb
taking
on,
it to the next level.
I'm not really too worried about that.
Right?
Nice slash line.
And once you already have a great game, there's also the possibility of simplifying the
That's
UI.
Tim and the Heligo.
As if you saw the clip earlier, or if you skip past that, shame on you. But if you
I
didn't,
threw the match because I
kidding.
forgot that.
if you didn't see the clip earlier, like having to run through, like go to like
Defense
Festival
drop.
Plaza
Air
to
balloons
like
pop.
click on the buttons or whatever, to like try and do online battles or like wonder trading, all that nonsense. It doesn't
So I
take
know
a
that
lot of
it's fast.
effort, but it's like it's not
Goodra,
convenient.
hello?
Like one thing that I can say
Shiny Pikachu.
as a human
Goodra is
being living
fairly
in 2017
slow.
is that convenience is key.
kind of walls out.
People don't want to go out to get food. That's why you order pizza online. People don't want to go to Walmart to buy stuff. That's why you order stuff on Amazon.
Is it a V-Vest?
Like the convenience of having that, like, actually makes a real impact. And then
also both of them are fastened.
in Pokemon Oris and X and Y, having it
That's
like
my
right
fault.
there.
I really could have won
for
this
you
game.
to look at.
I could have won
On the
won
bottom
this
screen,
game,
you can easily
but I
just
messed
go
up
online
with
and be like,
the.
oh, I want to wonder trade. Click a button, you're wonder trading already. Instead of going through Festival
I messed
Plaza,
up with the priority
trade.
bullet punch.
Oh, we gotta connect
Yeah,
online.
I should have went for Earthquake instead
Oh,
of
you gotta pick your 3 options: GTS, Link Trade, or freaking Wonder Trade.
instead of bullet. I wish I'd wear.
Takes too much time. Takes too
That's
much
fine.
time.
No.
Right? So
And
we're
the
1-1 now. Last thing that I also want to mention, which I said earlier, where it's like having full custom. When I've mentioned the battle backgrounds, it's like having the ability to have fully customized gameplay, right? Look at games like
Avos
games
5. What's
like
popping?
Studios like, actually, before we get into games,
So we
studios
got
like
Tapu
Bethesda,
Koko,
BioWare,
Randy,
like
they
they
create
create
games.
games.
Tapu Koko, Randy,
series, Prey, which you
what is
didn't
this? Arcanine
yet.
is
It looks
stout.
amazing.
Okay, so that's
Where
sound of
it's
Stout.
like,
and I'm
it's
actually gonna
like,
bring Tapu Bulu here.
those games are like fully customized. You do your whole character, your whole thing, open world. You basically get to do whatever you want
Tapu
when
Bulu
you
the
want
counter.
and you create
Tapu
your
Koko.
character to be who they are, right? And one of the issues with Pokemon is that
Let's see.
the
What can he lead off? He
game
can lead off
isn't
with
created
Tapu.
the way you wanted it.
So I was gonna say Coco
before
lead
it cut
and
off
again. Is
Or-
that it depends on what he wants to do. 'cause
with
he-
full
instead
creative
of the trick room with
potential,
Porygon Z, which if I brought
availability
Weavile, would have
actually,
been great
but I
to
should say not
have.
potential.
With
But,
full creative,
Komodo
hits more.
I said it
hits more
fucking
Pokemon
again.
with his
Um, But with full creative range for the players
Three of
to
his Pokemon
have,
get walled out with Tapu Koko.
like people can like fully experience the game like they fully want to. Like one of the
20
drawing
seconds
points of X and Y was that it had
Arcanine
you were able to
is the only thing that's
customize
really
the character,
threatening.
which was
You
amazing.
got people like Porygon 2.
Right? You could dress them up and do all of that. Then in Oris,
Porygon 2, Avos
like
5.
it wasn't as great because the player customization wasn't available. Then they brought it back in X and Y, and now it's like, holy crap, this is great. Being able to like customize and say how it goes
Tapu Koko
again
Gigalith.
goes back
Setting
to
up the Sandstream
customizing,
immediately.
like Wi-Fi.
And
routers
what
to
makes
have
it
the background
worse is
itself.
that
Since increases the replayability. Once again, look at games like
Since
Skyrim.
Gigalith
Look
is
at
slower
games
than
like
me, his
like
Sandstorm is
Prey,
gonna go
which
off first.
should have a really large replayability factor. Mass Effect series, and actually look at games, look at fan games like Pokemon Reborn, made by Amethyst. I've played through that game at least 4 different times and have like 4 different like experiences of it because there was so many
know what?
options, so many choices to make.
I'm
along
better
with the
off
updates
switching
that
into
came
this
game up
because
like there's options. You have options in there that you can change. And the same thing with
Princess
Princess
Peach
Reigns' Pokemon Insurgents, which
We
is
brought,
another fan game I'll put both of those links in the description. I'll go still, again, you have a lot of customization in it, where there's like your character, what kind of like if you want to play a lock, you can play that. Eliminate the electric terrain. You can keep playing it at different times and have different experiences of the game, rather than in a normal he withdrew Gigalith, just being locked to the very few options that you already have. Alright, so what's the end result of this? Is the very move, right? For Nintendo, it's going to be to sell consoles. That's how you make your money. You sell your products for a company, at least. You sell your products and people go out and buy them and they enjoy it, right? But one of the things, this is actually one of probably the most important factors. And this is when I wrote down what we know in the first section, and I highlighted this, is that Nintendo doesn't care about its consumers. So that's gonna play a major role in this last section. So let's go back, right? Nintendo wants to sell their consoles, but Nintendo has also been in a downward trend since probably the early 2000s, right? They were really prevalent with their releases from the mid 80s all the way to the early 2000s with the Game Boy Advance and all that nonsense, right? One of the things that has to be said, there's no way he's gonna re-bring out that Nintendo isn't interested in switching up their model. They keep releasing new Marios, keep releasing a lot of these kids games for their audience, but one of the things that Nintendo has failed to realize is that the audience that grew up on Nintendo, probably a primary consumer, a primary part of their fan. Oh, you know what? That cancels out. Has grown up. Now. Like, yes, there's in those years and even years now, there's new kids playing new games like Nintendo and Mario and all that, but a very large amount of their fan base who grew up on Nintendo have grown up. Like, they're adults, they're either like in college, they're in high school, or they're just adults now. And Nintendo doesn't wanna create games for that audience. Although exclusion being Bayonetta, which is an adult game, which actually had a lot of success. I wonder why, right? But one of the things I do want to mention is that those fans who grew up on Nintendo, who are like loyal to a series, i.e. Pokemon or Zelda, Mario isn't included because Mario has been pigeonholed into a kids game and will always be a kids game. I don't want to hear that nonsense from anybody. It's when those two series, Zelda or Pokemon, release, is when those people come back. Other than that, no one else plays. No people who grew up on Nintendo are gonna play like Splatoon or anything like that. I saw Splatoon and I was like, that's not for me. It's like, that's the same thing goes for like Mario Kart and stuff. Like, you grew up on Mario, that's why you play it. But no like adult who didn't have kids so like go out and buy Mario Kart. So once in that, like, this is all not to say that Pokemon Stars on Nintendo Switch isn't gonna be possible, or it's probably not gonna happen. But this is something that we have to deal with based in reality, where it's like that these are things that are possible to happen. But what we can say is that if they brought all these new aspects, all these possibilities to the game, like they developed for the Nintendo Switch, brought out all these new things that they can add and like increase the longevity of the game. Pokemon don't want to do that. PS or Stars could potentially be one of the like top end Pokemon Earthquake, even with the reduced out of the entire series, because it contributed so much. Guard. So that's really all I have to say. If you have any comments or anything, things that I missed, things that you think were wrong, can leave them in the description. Like I said, I have all the links that I used in this video down in the description where you could go look at and read for yourself. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because we come out with videos almost every single day. I'm gonna get back on that grind, and I hope to catch you guys later. Peace out.